I jolted awake to the sound of car engine. The pounding pain in my head started to set in, along with the throbbing in my tied-up wrist and ankles. Groggily, one opened my eyes with a wince. What in the... I cursed under my breath, glancing up to the rearview mirror. My heart pounding in my chest as I locked eyes with the man. The cold stare made me shift my gaze away uncomfortably. It was a face I could not recognize. A sudden wave of dread washed over me as I realized something worrying. I couldn't remember a thing. Not my name, not where I was, no memories at all. I felt the warm fluid pricked across my scalp and down to the back of my neck. I looked around frantically, searching for any visible clue to indicate my current location. But the headlights of the vehicle only revealed endless grass and weeds stretching into the night, no indication of where I was. With a frustrated groan, I tried to reach up to clutch my throbbing head, only to be stopped by the tight bond around my wrists. How did I end up here? Dazed and disoriented, I knew I need to do something before it's too late. The amount of blood all over the place already told me everything I needed to know. Things are looking bad for me. Really bad. But I'm not going down without a fight. Stomp the car. I lashed out, thrusting my bound legs forward, kicking at the driver's seat with every ounce of strength I could muster. What the f*** are you doing? I said stop the car. The car swerved violently at my attempt, careening to the far side of the road as a glare of approaching headlights pierced through the darkness. I felt a strange sense of satisfaction seeing the guy white-knuckle the steering wheel trying to regain control. Before the realization sunk in, I was thrown violently off the seat by the force. Everything went black. Last night, a tragic accident occurred on the remote stretch of Cove Street where two individuals in the vehicle tragically lost their lives in a horrific head-on collision with a truck. Emergency responders arrived at the scene and discovered two bodies in the car, while a third was found in the trunk. The identities of the victims are still being confirmed, and the cause of the accident is under investigation. Ending one accident. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, trying my best effort to calm the rising panic that was building up inside me. Bit by bit, the gnawing dread in my chest began to subside, which only replaced by a wave of confusion. I needed some answers. I can't remember anything. My head hurts like hell. I managed to croak out. He narrowed his eyes at me through the rearview mirror for a brief moment before turning his attention back to road. Yeah, sure. I heard a scoff. Clearly he wasn't convinced. If this is how you're gonna play, I'm telling you right now, it is not going to work. The guy didn't even glance my way as I approached him with the question. The dead silence was telling me maybe I should be more careful with the way I speak to him. He clicked his tongue in irritation. A deep frown appeared on his face. I guessed I couldn't get much information out of him if I don't approach him with the right words. Shut up. The furrow of his brow deepened as those two words came out of his mouth firmly. He shot a sharp glare at me through the mirror as if I was an unruly child causing a racket on an airplane. The blunt hostility made me shifted on the seat. I needed to make sure I choose the right question to ask next. Or else he might shut me out completely. I should just. A truck passed by on the opposite side of the road. He suddenly cut himself short as I started to the side view mirror. No, too messy. He trailed off with his brow furrowed in annoyance. Just up. He warned me through gritted teeth. He's really on edge now. I could tell he didn't have much patience left in him. This might be my last chance. I've had enough of this. He suddenly slammed on the brake pedal, bringing the car to a screeching halt in the middle of the road. My body lurched forward at the sudden stop with the ropes dug deeper into my skin. I should be the one who's asking questions, not you. He turned around and I froze. The metallic click echoed in my ears. Cold sweat trickling down my face as I stared into the gleaming barrel, paralyzed. You don't deserve any answer from me. Ending to no more answers. The deafening silence between us only heightened the sense of dread and helplessness. I tried to make a sound, but nothing came out. The lump formed in my dry throat. I couldn't even think straight as the constant jostling of the vehicle sharpening the pain in my head. I pressed my back against the seat, cold sweat breaking out across my skin. No, this is bad. Shaking violently against the box, I choked out a desperate sob. His eyes darted to me briefly at the miserable sound I made before looking back at the road with a cold huff. No, I cannot panic. It's the last thing I need right now. It would only make this worse than it already is. I needed to keep it together and I needed to approach him with a clear head. I had to. Slow breaths. Just breathe. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, trying my best effort to calm the rising panic that was building up inside me. Bit by bit, the gnawing dread in my chest began to subside, which only replaced by a wave of confusion. I needed some answers. The guy didn't even glance my way as I approached him with the question. The dead silence was telling me, maybe, I should be more careful with the way I speak to him. I can't remember anything. My head hurts like hell. I managed to croak out. He narrowed his eyes at me through the rearview mirror for a brief moment before turning his attention back to road. Yeah, sure. I heard a scoff. Clearly he wasn't convinced. If this is how you're gonna play, I'm telling you right now, it is not going to work. Who are you? Do we know each other? Is this some kind of sick joke? The guy suddenly raised his voice. No, I hesitated. The disorienting pain in my head served as a constant reminder that I was not in control of the situation. Absently, I squirmed against the strain around my limbs. I can't even remember who I am. He hissed in a deep breath. Sounded like he's trying to get a hold of himself. I really should have just finished the job back there so I don't have to deal with this bullshit. Given his reaction, I must have known him before I lost my memory. Why are you doing this? Why am I doing this? What makes you think you have the right to ask me that question? He snapped. You don't get to play the victim here. Dropping the voice, his eyes darted back to the road. Not until I make you one. A shiver ran down my spine as those words sank in. The sense of unease further settled in my gut. Why me? Of course, you forget about that too. How convenient. I'll show you a quick reminder. He reached up and turned the rear mirror towards me. I could feel the blood drain from my face as my eyes locked on the reflection. It's the same face I've been staring at the entire time. It was his face, but it was me. What the? I winced at the sight. The pounding pain in my head was telling me that this was not a dream, like I'd hoped. Same eyes, same face. I've even checked the fingerprints while you was out. Each one matched perfectly. He quickly turned the mirror back and squinted his eyes, looking me up and down. I shifted uncomfortably in the back seat. What are you? What are you going to do to me? More of a plea than a question, sounding way more desperate than I had intended. It's not about what I'm going to do to you. It's about what you were going to do to me. I'm just trying to make everything right. He paused, staring off into the distance blankly. You've been stalking me for quite a while now. You think I didn't know that? Do I need to remind you there's a dead body in trunk right now? Didn't wait for me to relp me, he went on. Heh, lucky for me, that poor guy showed up in the wrong place at the wrong time. The gravity of his words settled into me, and I was paralyzed by the realization of what he was suggesting. My brain struggled to make sense of it all. No, that's not. Your dirty fingerprints are all over the place. They'll think I killed that guy. He cut me off abruptly and continued. You can't escape this, no. But I can. Suppose you are gonna help me get out of this mess. His words only added more questions to my already dazed mind. What exactly did he need me for? It didn't take long for me to understand what he meant. After putting the car to a full stop, he came to the back and hauled me out of the car. I fought against the bonds desperately as he dragged me across the rough ground into a cliff by the sea. With one rough shove, I gasped and kneeled on the edge. The night air biting into my skin. I shuddered at the cold, hard rocks against my knees. He stood behind me, his hand firmly gripping my hair, sharpening the pain in my head. I hissed, wincing from the increasing pressure. Any more of those questions? Please don't do this. My voice cracking with tears streaming down to my chin. The fact I couldn't see his face only heightened the panic that was already coursing through my veins. That's not a question. And you know I can't let you go. I have no choice. He fell to silence. I could hear the slight trembling exhale from behind me. I don't know how you came to be. Maybe I never will. But no matter what you are, I know I'm the original, and you are nothing more than a mistake that needs to be corrected. Teetering on the over the precipice, I shut my eyes in despair. It's time for you to go. Noah. Noah. I repeated the syllable, feeling a sense of familiarity on my tongue before he gave me the final push. I guess that was my name. Ending 3 Noah. I jolted awake to the sound of car engine. My eyes fluttered open as I felt a sharp pain in my neck. What in the? I guess I just pulled over and dozed off somehow. And now my neck was sore from the awkward position I fell asleep in. I clutched my neck and slowly rotated it before turning off the engine. Something in the back of my mind made me turn my head around to check the back seat. The back seat of the car was completely spotless. No stain, no dirt, nor anything else. Just absolutely spotless. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything is normal. Everything is fine. Letting out a breath I was holding for way too long, I started the car and drove into the night. Ending 4 night drive.